After a very early start from Dakhla and an extremely smooth border crossing, the AfricaEcoRace caravan arrived in Mauritania on a very windy Monday morning. As much of the day was taken up with travelling, the timed stage was not expected to be long, but it was to be a good introduction to what awaits the teams in the days to come, especially in the marathon stage. In all, 176 kilometres of timed stage was planned from Arzmelat to Chamy. However, that did not take into account the Mauritanian wind. You know that the most important thing for the AfricaEcoRace is that the competition takes place with the maximum of safety precautions. Let me repeat that in English.
At AfricaRace, our goal is always from the past to have the maximum security, because for example, if a biker have a problem somewhere, if I don't have the helicopter, with my small plane I can do nothing. But for the people with the motorbike, if they have a problem, so this morning the helicopter couldn't fly, and still they couldn't fly.
The helicopters can't leave today because there is a little storm in Dakhla, and I don't want to take any risks with you. I can't let 50 bike riders out into the Pampa. If someone gets hurt and we have no helicopters, we're stuck. It's impossible. We always put security first.
But it's more important. You are more important than safety.
I was very surprised. At the beginning, we didn't know, but when I finished my speech, they all applauded. Somewhere that makes me happy, because I think, yes, the competitors are intelligent. They understood. Without exception, they have a really good attitude. I went to the start of the stage to explain why. Because it's always like that, you know. People without insurance always have an accident, and our insurance is the helicopters. No helicopters means no race. So let's take this opportunity to recap where we are and how the race has played out thus far. We'll start with the SSVs. These little speed demons are light, manoeuvrable and great fun to drive in the sand and in the dunes. This week started badly for Philippe Pinchedes, current French endurance champion, who took off a little enthusiastically and came a cropper. With heavy heart, he had to abandon 8 kilometres before the end of the first stage. Until now, this team has finished every stage, but they're having a tough time out there. Paolo Cecchi, 2018's bike winner, is competing this year in an SSV with his wife Sarah. For 8 days, they have had nothing but problems, and despite being still in the race, they are far down the rankings. Troubles abound too for last year's SSV winner Jean-Hugues Monéron. The French-Senegalese driver is hanging on, but is far from the top despite winning the first stage. One thing is for sure, he won't be retaining his title, but the important thing, he's having fun and heading home to Dakar. As is Jean-Claude Ruffier. At nearly 80 years old, he's the oldest competitor on the course. His eternal youth is incredible and inspiring. How on earth does he manage physically with the crazy heat and being thrown around in his buggy all day? He is currently 27th in the GC and 5th in his category. Quite far behind his friends, the brothers in Team B2F, Benoit and Bruno Fretin. In their separate vehicles, these siblings have been struggling since Nador, but they remain upbeat and smiley around the bivouac. Bruno is sitting in second in the category. He is just ahead of Jean-Luc Pisson-Cicaldi, who won both the 4th and 5th stages. The big surprise of the week is this man. Rudy Roxalan is knocking on the door of the top 10 in the GC and is leading the SSV category. A real lesson in consistency since Tuesday last week.
The
roundup of the first week is just incredible. We're having great fun. From a sporting perspective, we're leading in the GC in our category with a 2-hour lead. So now we just have to stay cool. We will try to keep the vehicle in the best state possible to tackle the dunes of Mauritania. Moving on now to the beasts of the AfricaEcoRace, the trucks. There has been everything to play for in this category this year, making it very exciting. The Netherlands are well represented. Ad van Velsen is at this point in the race their best shot. He's lying 4th in the category. Only a bit less than 8 minutes ahead of the Belgian driver Igor Bowens. After winning the first stage, he broke part of his steering column and had trouble with his turbo in the fifth. He is currently fourth in the category. Just behind him, the veteran of this category, Noel Essers. Ever sprightly and bright-eyed, the first part of his race was very consistent. At 75 years old, he has had no troubles thus far and is inside the top 10 overall and second in the trucks. Bravo! This man has had only one problem thus far, but it was a big one. Leading from day 2, Thomas Tomacek broke down on the final day in Morocco. The Czech driver seriously damaged his clutch and lost his number 1 position to Elizabeth Jacinto. The Portuguese motorsport star has given her everything to forget the abandons of the last 2 years. She started week 2 with a massive smile and the leading position in this ever impressive category. It was really hard because I wanted to drive fast. Trucks are pretty violent to be in at high speeds, so you need to really concentrate. It requires a lot physically and quite often it hurts. It's hard. It was a really hard part of the rally, very competitive. I loved it. The car category has had some surprises this week. Dominique Cuzzio was the favourite leaving Monaco, but in stage 4 he missed a danger level 2 and quite literally took off. He rolled, landing back on all 4 wheels, and despite being more shaken than injured, he sadly had to abandon. On the flip side, the Kuprianov brothers are thrilled with their week. Usually found behind the wheel of a Kamaz truck, their first outing in a buggy is turning out to be quite the success. They won stage 5 and are 8th overall. And in the top 3 thus far, we find 3 Optimus buggies. For the moment, MD Team is dominating the car category. Jean-Noël and Rabat Noel are 3rd and delighted with their success to date. Hot on their heels is a veteran who hasn't driven for 3 years. Jean-Pierre Strugo is itching to get to Mauritania and knows that the 22 minutes and 30 seconds that separate them from the leaders are easily eaten up in the dunes. The leading driver is all too aware of that pressure as he heads into the second week. Dominique Laure won the first 4 stages and goes into Mauritania in first position. We had great fun. The Optimus buggies are still in front and that's great. Antoine Morel has built us some great cars. The mechanics are working like crazy men all night. They go to sleep late. They do a great job. They put their heart into it. And we feel it when we drive and navigate. The team works really well. It's comforting to know that there's a great team behind us. Here is the story of a man with a dream. A man who, like the bikers of old, dreamt of riding his motorbike to Dakar. Zhao Jingzhu is here to make that dream a reality. The first Chinese competitor in the AfricaEcoRace has travelled from Shanghai to take part. How does the reality compare to the dream? I want to thank my good buddy, Guillaume Vidal, for introducing me to this race. Of course, as soon as I heard about it, and it's in Africa, and it's the dream of every rider in the motorbike world to go to Dakar. It's a dream, so I was very happy to join and very excited about the race. So the motorbike, or the rally in general, has just started in China and not long ago. It's getting professional and there are more and more people. So I believe there's a bright future for the rally in general and the motorbike rally in China. I'm sending a lot of photos back home, and people are really excited about it, very envious, and realizing that this is what Africa looks like. This is how a rally works. So there are a lot of people who will want to join next year.
想下一年度或者下一年度和我们一起来参加这场比赛。这个石头对我
I
来
really
讲
hated the stones of Morocco and would like to kick them out.
拳头要去打它。这个可能会
I prefer the sand. That's something I mastered a bit better.
稍微比较擅长的一点吧。
In the bikes, the week was split fairly evenly between Boturi and Ullevalseter. However, the first French rider is sitting in 7th place. Philippe Cavelius is a dental technician from Metz and has improved every day since the start. The top 5 is made up of some familiar faces. Felix Jensen has been consistent throughout with 2 third places, 1 fourth and a 5th. The Norwegian is 5th overall, 2 hours and 23 minutes behind the leader. A fall at the beginning of the week shook this rider's confidence a little, but Simone Agazzi is back on form. The Italian has kept his rhythm steady and finds himself in 4th place. Very close to Martin Benko, in fact 7 minutes and 4 seconds precisely. The Slovak, 3rd in the rally 2 years ago, is an outsider who could just surprise us with a podium place. However, the 2 main protagonists in this rally are these men, Paul Anders Ullevalseter and Alessandro Boturi. The Norwegian is very keen to tackle the dunes of Mauritania, which he knows extremely well. He's lying second, only 7 minutes and 16 seconds behind Boturi. The Italian is faster at navigation, but maybe at a disadvantage to Ullevalseter in the dunes. However it plays out, he's pleased to be the leader in his first outing in the AfricaEcoRace. It's my first Africa race, and I think it's the most incredible race. Once again, it all comes down to the navigation. Everything is fantastic. I love the desert. There's no one for miles, and you have to do it all alone. That's us for today. A disappointing outcome, but we remain hopeful for better weather tomorrow so we can start the racing in Mauritania in earnest. Awaiting the teams tomorrow, 480 kilometres of time stage over camel grass, dunes and navigating between Gare du Nord and Chamois. And at the end of the day, the vehicles will go directly into the Parc Fermé for the night, giving the mechanics a night off. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.